Hello, this is Workbook 20, including, or I guess I should say lesson 20, including the workbooks and the checkpoints. And so make sure you follow along. If you'd like to be able to split your screen and you need to know how to do that, there are lots of videos available for how to do that. So look into it. Okay, for lesson 20, we are learning 20.1, we're learning about cylinders. So cylinder, it's like a can. Or I have this lovely mug here, and it's just like the round part of the mug, right? So these are a cylinder. You probably remember this from like middle school or probably before that. Anyway, and it's just finding the volume of it. So volume talks about how much space something takes up. Area is how much surface basically you have, and the volume is how much space it takes up. And so it's going to be in cubic units. And then they have an example here, like this right here is a triangular prism. And we have to talk about the base. The base of a triangular prism is a triangle, and then it goes straight up from there. So then you slice it off, and then you have a prism. Rectangular prism, same thing. The base shape would be a rectangle, and it goes up and then slices it off. Then rectangular prisms are rectangles. And then here's the thing with all of them is they are measured in cubes. Like if we took one of these tiny little pieces right there, that is a cube, and we want to know how many of those fill up space. So if we have a prism, this is starting with cylinders. Interesting. Okay, if we have a prism, it's just the area of the base, so whatever that shape is, times the height. With a, and then this is saying, and the next thing is cross sections. So if we have a cross section of some shape, so we have, when we're talking about a cross section, we can talk about it based on parallel to the base. So if it was sitting on a table like this, the cross section would be slicing through like this, and then it would be, with this one, it would be a circle. With other shapes, it just depends on what it would be. So we talk about cylinders, and this is saying capillaries. Where was that one? Yeah. Capillaries principle basically says if you just measured lots of those things and stacked them up and like measured little slices of it, you'd get the volume. So, okay, so here's a cylinder that's slanted. And if we took the area of the base and then multiplied it by the height, whether that height was perpendicular or not, we could find the volume of it. And here are a bunch of other different base shapes. And again, it's the area of the base times the height multiplied by the height. This is saying that we could take it, like take a circle, we could change, and instead of finding the circle, basically what this is doing is it's a fancy way of finding the area of a circle, which I think is funny because you guys probably already know that. So you find the area of the circle and then times it by the height. And that's what this whole thing is about. So consider a triangular prism in a cylinder having the same base area and the same height. So if they had the same base area, and so whether that was a triangle or a circle, and we knew it was the exact same area, and they had the exact same height, well, the formula is the area of the base multiplied by the height. So then that means that the volumes would have to be the same, no matter what the shape is. And then this says a paint can is 10 centimeters tall, so that's the height, and it was about that many cubic centimeters of paint. So what is the approximate area of the can? So we want to figure out the area of that can. So we would take, here, let me pause this so that we can come in here. So we get this equation here. The base times the height is equal to 535, and actually I should replace that height with 10. Like this. So we have the base multiplied by 10 is 535. In other words, the opposite of multiplying by 10 is dividing by 10, which would just simply move the decimal over one place, which would be 53.5 centimeters squared. Oh, let's go back to this thing. Okay, 53.5 centimeters squared. So that is 20.1. Very long lesson. Just basically about finding the area of the base times the height. Next lesson